Hello and welcome to the Latvian American Chamber of Commerce's mini spotlight. My name is Lauris Lambergs. I'm the co-president of the Latvian American Chamber of Commerce. It is my pleasure to welcome you here to the third mini spotlight of 2025. And as crazy as this may seem, it's actually been 5 years since we rolled out the first mini spotlights in the thick of COVID, late spring, early summer of 2020. We had trouble getting 20 people to come join us, in part because people were still in their bunkers. But it's amazing how quickly this program has grown. So many spotlights, as you may know, were really meant to be an opportunity for us to bring together some of the more compelling and interesting stories of businesses that are looking to come from Latvia into the US. We've grown dramatically, and I think today will be most likely our best attended webinar so far, well into over 100 people joining us here this evening. So given that we're a week after the 4th of July and a couple weeks after Yanni, I really appreciate your being here and watching this. Artificial intelligence obviously is something that seems to be everywhere now. In the last week, if you read the New York Times or Wall Street Journal, there have been frontline articles on how some of the world's leading firms are investing millions to billions into this intelligence, into this new technology. And we're pleased to be able to bring 3 really compelling stories from Latvia about businesses that are taking already successful business models and making them that much better when it comes to using AI to expand their business footprint and to look to come into a market like the US. So as always, we try to make these sessions as informative, as actionable, and as interesting as we can, and welcome your feedback, whether through the chat or through sending us an email afterwards. A couple of quick notes before I do a quick introduction and we get into the meat of it here today. First and foremost, there is an opportunity to ask questions of our 3 guests. Please put those in the chat box, and I'll do my best to ask them as we move along. Also, as we've done the last couple of mini spotlights, we're going to be opening up for an informal networking session at the end of this hour. So if you're game and you have a little bit of time and would like to meet others who are on this webinar, you'll be put into a randomly assigned networking room. You have the chance to meet other folks who are here with us today, get to learn about them, their businesses, and like any good chamber of commerce, our primary function is to help you meet other actively engaged folks in the community and to see if you can help each other's businesses. Additionally, I would like to point out that this won't be the only time the LACC is going to be speaking to artificial intelligence. As part of our upcoming Spotlight Latvia event in Washington, D.C., the 15th and 16th of October, artificial intelligence and cybersecurity are going to be one of the key themes that we're bringing a panel together for this event. For those who have been, they know that Spotlight is a massive event. We had 225 people in Boston 2 years ago. I anticipate we'll have more than that this year. Check out spotlightlatvia.com. We have a number of other really exciting themes and panels really based around the theme of security. How does the US and how does Latvia think about security in a very volatile world? So check that out if today's conversation gets you interested to learn more about AI and how Latvia and the US can use it. Additionally, I'd like to say thanks to some of our friends who make these events possible. Certainly to our friends at the Latvian Investment and Development Agency, Ilza Michul in particular. She's been instrumental in bringing these to us. Also to our friends at the Red Jackets, the Latvian Exporters Association, Līva Sturman and Christine Smilga. Christine is here today, and I would be remiss if I didn't point out behind Mikus there is the Green Treasures of Latvia book, which highlights some of the best national champions from Latvia. Just been published. If you'd like a copy, reach out, info@latvianchamber.com. We might have a couple available for you. But really well done, interesting story, and Christine was really at the vanguard of that. And lastly, I'd like to say thanks to our friends here at Softechnica. Janis Bergs and his team have enabled us to use a world-class studio to bring you these webinars in real time. So with all that said, I'd like to bring our attention to the matter at hand, which is our 3 speakers. They're each going to spend about 15 minutes, tell you their backstory, tell you how they're using AI, and then answer any question that you may have along the way. So I'll briefly list them out, and then we'll turn to the first speaker. So the first person joining us tonight is Raimonds Simanovskis. He is the founder and CEO of EZBI. Welcome, Raimond. Our second speaker is Mikus Opelts, also the founder and CEO of Giraffe 360. Mikus, welcome.
Hey.
And we've got joining us from the sunny shores of Madrid, Mathieu Brunier, who's the Senior Vice President at the LIAA Group. I'm not sure if you can hear us, Mathieu, but I know you're here online with us. But welcome to you as well, Mathieu. So with that said, I'd like to turn the baton over to Raimonds to tell us a little bit about EasyBI, and we'll go from there. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And I will briefly tell about what is EasyBI and how we are using AI technologies. At first, EasyBI is a business intelligence app for data analysis and visualization. So it's a general purpose data analysis tool, similar probably to some Power BI or Tableau, but our specialty is that we have a very deep integration with Atlassian products, like Atlassian Jira and Confluence, which are products for project management, knowledge sharing, and we are one of the top-selling apps on the Atlassian marketplace. And regarding today's topic, it's here. So regarding what are the main markets where we are operating in? So United States is the largest market for us. So in the last 12 months, it has been around 42% of our revenues, and so some other top countries are from Europe, and also from Brazil, Australia, and from the rest of the world. But we are a fully Latvian-based company. We are a team of 33 people, originally from Latvia, but we work fully remotely. And so sometimes everyone is in Latvia somewhere, but sometimes we are somewhere else. And so what is EasyBI as a product? So it provides you capabilities that you can analyze your data. And in EasyBI, you structure your data in measures. For example, in this Jira issue management case, it could be some number of issues created, resolved, hours spent, number of workflow transitions, etc. And then you can analyze them by different dimensions, like by time, by projects, issue statuses, priorities, etc. And then you can make some pivot table style reports and do some conditional formatting of the results. As well as you can visualize the data using different chart types. And all these chart types are also interactive, that you can start with some overview and then go and drill into some details and see more detailed results. And then you can also combine them into dashboards that you can share regularly for either some top management or for some project managers or for any user. And when you have created different reports and charts, you can share them using different ways in different other places. For example, if you're using Atlassian products, you can share on Jira dashboards or on Confluence pages, or you can embed these reports or charts in any other web page, or prepare PDF exports and send via emails to someone who regularly wants to receive updated information about that. And in EasyBI, you can get the data from many different data sources. And as I mentioned, that our top integrations are with Atlassian products, where you can get data from Jira or Jira Service Management, or from Confluence, which is knowledge-based knowledge sharing tool, or for developer tools like Bamboo. As well as I mentioned, we are the top application on the Atlassian marketplace, which where you can get many other apps which integrate with these Atlassian products. And then there are some tools for time tracking or for test management or for other purposes. And then we have standard integrations with them. As well as you can get data from any other data source, from databases, REST APIs, and other applications like GitHub, Monday.com, etc., or as well as just upload some files with data. So as our name says, we are a BI tool, which stands for business intelligence. But in the recent years, of course, people were talking about different acronym about AI. And initially, as I have been for quite a long time in the industry, and I've seen these bubbles coming up and go regarding different buzzwords. And initially, I was more on the skeptical side, but I always like to try some things out and to convince myself, so whether it's something worth to do. And so therefore, about some 1.5 years ago, so we started to experiment with AI technologies, or specifically with large language models, and how we could use that in our product. And you can see that many have been using these AI technologies or large language models not just for AI's sake, just to put some badge that they are also using AI. And then there are a lot of different capabilities that you can summarize some text or generate some text, and which are not really useful. And so therefore we were thinking how we can make these technologies more useful for our real customer needs. And so we in EasyBI, so we have a lot of detailed documentation, we have very good support, and there are a lot of features that you can do with EasyBI report builder with some, just by dragging and dropping and clicking around. But of course, you as a user, you always do not know all the features, and you probably don't know where to search in documentation for particular information, or and if you write to our support, then if you are in the States and we are in Latvia, so we are asleep when we are writing these questions. And so therefore we started to build how we could build AI assistants built into our product, where you can ask, so for example, for this first assistant, this report building assistant, you can ask, I would like to build such report where I would like to analyze these data by these measures, by these dimensions, and then it will generate using already all the knowledge that we have in our documentation, in our examples, it will generate the report definition that you can load and see whether it's what you want. And if not, so then you can continue discussions and ask for more improved results. As well as we have created these assistants for other purposes. For example, there are more advanced features in EasyBI that you can write calculation formulas where there are some specific calculation formula language that you need to learn, and if you don't know it, so you can also just ask in plain English, or actually we have seen it's not just English, so these large language models are perfect in many other top languages of the world. To ask what you want to build, and you will get the generated formula that you want. Or in some other places that when you do some data import, if you want to modify it, you can generate some additional customizations for it. Or recently, we are building that it can analyze if your report is performing slow, then you can ask to analyze its performance, and it will identify the key bottlenecks and will suggest how to do the improvements in this report. So we started to release them a little bit more than a year ago, and so this has been really very popular among our users, and so we have received the feedback so that it works better than expected as there are very many bad examples. There are just some chatbots which give some bad results, but so it's really good feedback, and sometimes even some compared that they use our tool and not Power BI because our AI assistant is better, so when we are compared to such company like Microsoft, which is one of the top AI companies, we're getting feedback that our AI is better, so then it's of course a good thing to hear. And we are also regularly reviewing how users are using it, these AI assistants, and so we see that it's still you can see which have used to that using these new AI technologies, or who are already using some other similar tools, and who are not. And so therefore we need to explain and tell that well, with these AI assistants, you need to be more explicit and tell more what you need. So we see that still many are just trying to use it as a Google search, just putting some keywords. So you need to put more detailed context what you want. And also these assistants unfortunately can't read your mind. And so I think that's why still consultants will have the business, because when consultants work regularly with customers, and they quite often can read their mind when they mention some keyword, what to do. So unfortunately with these technologies, you need to tell explicitly what you need to do. And of course currently still our support is still smarter. And we always suggest if you can't solve with these ones, contact our support. But we see that it has improved our customer support significantly. Yeah, so that's overview of how we are currently using these AI technologies in our product.
So this last page here, I think, is something I'd like to linger on. I think this is really helpful. You know, the more specific, the more direct, the better it sounds like. But when you think about incorporating this, you said you started a year and a half ago. Did you view it at that time as an ability to enhance your software capabilities and a threat, or is it just, is it something that could, not only disrupt what other people are doing, but what you're doing as well? I guess, how do you manage that sort of, it's helpful, but if it gets smart enough, could it conceivably do what EasyBI is doing?
No, actually, so it is a combination. So we combine this inside our product, so which helps because when you're thinking about this analytics, then you, in ideal, some are thinking that, well, we will not need any BI tools. In the future, I can just ask the question and will get the answer. Mm-hmm. But so human language is so vague, and so you can ask always a not very precise way. So it's much better. So when you combine it, that you use these AI technologies, and then you get to some report, and then it's predictable report. Okay, so this is what I want to look at each day, or each week, or each month, and then it gives some visual overview. And then also LLMs can make mistakes. So then if you get from a non-deterministic AI, you get deterministic report or chart that you can use, and then you test, okay, that's what I want, and then I will regularly use it. So I think that in this analytics area, so these both things will work as it's a very, especially so that's a threat that some might, as long ago that everyone used Excel, where in some cell there was a mistake in the formula, and then they made the business decisions based on the wrong Excels. So that's the threat that nowadays some business managers might make wrong decisions because so they asked not in the right way something to LLM and got not the right answer.
I wanted to briefly touch on, you said 40% of your business is in the US. Obviously that's a substantial part, bigger than any other country. Are there particular industries or type of companies that are more responsive to what EasyBI does? And I guess, how can our members think about connecting you to people that you're trying to maybe speak to, and who would they be looking for in that case?
Also our customer base, so as we are primarily integrating with this Atlassian software, and so that reflects what is their business. And so of course we see that maybe there are more companies who are using already these high technologies, and so these are more high technology companies. But what we see, so that we have very many, for example, automated companies, so maybe all the top brands of the world, they are using our software. We see in banking and financial sectors, which are also heavy technology users, they are using our software. And then we see other software companies, big software companies, some gaming companies, or some other companies who are using our software. So these are mostly these who are already using much of this, who are doing this collaboration in a digital way, and if they have all their information digitally. And our focus specifically is for this project management, and if they store somewhere all how they're performing their projects, what are the tasks, so then they are potentially those who can use also our tool.
Excellent. So Raymond, I'd ask you, if someone wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to find you?
So me personally, so I'm on LinkedIn, so you can contact me, or just if you are interested in EasyBI as a software, so it's you can try it out. So there's a free trial if you go to the easybi.com and find it out, or write to our support there.
Excellent. Raimonds, thank you very much. Our next speaker is Mikus Opelts. He again is the founder and CEO of Giraffe 360. Mikus, welcome, and tell us your story.
Thanks, Lauris. Thanks, Raimonds. Very interesting. Yeah, I'm Mikus Opelts, co-founder. Started the company with my brother and CEO of Giraffe 360. We are real estate, media, and marketing automation platform. Probably the number one thing, before we jump into the product, today when real estate marketing is actually synonym with real estate photography. When people want to list homes online, they typically call photographer. Photographer comes, does photo shoot, and then real estate agents start to do real estate marketing. And 70% of real estate marketing today is doing photography. So the world has moved on. The internet is becoming much more immersive. We are consuming more content. So consumers are pushing much more higher quality and higher intensity media in a digital space. And so we in Giraffe 360 are building a fully integrated platform that delivers real estate. First, it delivers real estate media production, and we produce from floor plans to photography to 3D to websites. And then we have our own Spotlight, actually is the product name. She thought it's
well done.
A cute cameo. I actually thought that when we came up with the Spotlight, that's just a great name for a marketing platform. And then I realized there's so many companies that call their marketing products
Mikus, we are willing to share with you. There's no worries there.
So yeah, Listing Spotlight is our marketing automation. But I missed the first part. We started as a robotics company. We build our own robotics cameras. We produce them here in Latvia. So we build our cameras, and then we have an extensive AI system that renders the data, and users access our content studio where they can access all of these different variety of real estate media. And on the third step, they start to list their properties, automate their marketing, and that's the technological innovation we bring to the market. So we elevate the market from what historically was a single asset production workflow, where photographers went to listings and did photography. Now they do full building 3D scans, and then we use that underlying data to then run multiple of workflows. And our AI, we qualify it as a contextual AI. We have today 15 machine learning models that we use to render the different levels of data. To explain it in simple terms, when a user goes to property with Giraffe camera, the camera is equipped with a LiDAR laser. It has a photo lens. It has different sensors. All of these sensors and LiDARs collect property. And then our ML models are responsible for making sense of the data. So lots of people think about us as a camera company, as a robotics company, but the camera is kind of there just for the data input. The real magic happens is in our ability, how we then can use the data to create accurate floor plans. We started our business in the UK. For example, in the UK, floor plan legal standard is different from America, where the ANSI standard is used. So we have to, when we cross geographies, we have to adapt to different legal requirements.
Can you just give a little bit of detail? How is it different?
So, for example, let me use Monaco. This is because it's the simplest to compare. In Monaco, a terrace is a living area. Mm-hmm. Most of the other places in the world, a terrace is not a living area.
Monaco is okay though.
Yeah, so because in Monaco you spend lots of that terrace is very expensive. So in that guidelines, when we have captured, the data capture is the same. We have to understand from a scan that that's, for example, a terrace. But whether to include in the floor plan calculation, in the square feet total calculation, whether to include that terrace or not include, we have to set the rules. And so, but that example very well illustrates what we do with our AI. We want to understand the space from a capture. And so we have spent years on trying to learn about indoor spaces. One of our mistakes on developing technology was that at one point we started to go wide. We started to service different categories. We wanted to service architects, construction companies, and we realized we can't cater all of those customer use cases because properties keep changing. Even though it's a building that gets scanned, but whether we can interpret a result that's feasible for that client category, it's actually a very high bar. And we have been, thus for the last 2 years, we have been really focused on the residential real estate captures and residential real estate marketing flow automations. Today we have more than 3 million spaces captured in our database. That's the volume on which we have been training our data. We started in AI game before it was a buzzword. In 5 years ago, we started to go to universities in Latvia to get young people and explain them about this possibility and start to build like a workforce. Today, from our 220 people staff, the AI team is 25 plus 25. We adjust typically to the data labeling and can extend that team to roughly 50 people. And our core goal is to, from a scan that's captured with Giraffe camera, to fully understand building, and that's where we spend a ton of time at. And to give you some sense of the engagement data, today we have more than 10,000 users. Last year we did 200,000 listings. This year we are on track to do probably more than 500,000 listings. And when we started the company, we launched actually in UK. We started we're a Latvian company, but Latvian real estate market, we thought we have to straight away go to one of the biggest markets. America seemed very far, so we launched in the UK. In the UK today, we are biggest media supplier for real estate agencies. We cover 5% of the market. So if you are looking for a property to buy in London, and if you enter Rightmove, which is their leading portal, there's a high chance that you see actually content that's generated by Giraffe 360. And then we launched America right after COVID, 2022, 2023. Today, America is less than 20% of our market. And we have almost 1,000 users in every state in America. And but America and market is the crown jewel. It's probably one of the biggest consolidated market in the world. So we have high expectations and hope to really go significantly in the U.S. market. And in the U.S. market, our next step is, historically we actually sell our service to the real estate brokerages, and so real estate agents in lots of cases go away from need to have a photographer. They have Giraffe cameras and Giraffe AI system to do their real estate media and marketing. In America, because of how the market is constructed, we are more focusing on a photographer as our core customer category. Because in America, there's 5 million homes sold a year on average, and there's 3 million real estate agents. So at best, you get a real estate agent only selling 2 houses a year. So you kind of need this service, somebody that's going to do the building capture and building scan. So in America, we are focusing now to sell our service to photographers or service suppliers that then go out and service real estate agents, use our technology to provide the service to them.
And are you selling them the physical camera? Are you selling them the service? How do you monetize the relationship?
We are a subscription business, and our subscription breaks down in 3 parts. Clients pay for a camera subscription. If they cancel, they return the kits. They pay for our content studio that includes this AI system, and then they will be paying for our marketing software that we launched, I think it was 1 month ago. It's free today, but in a future that will be also a third paid option in our service. But yeah, maybe more questions. That I think wraps up my introduction on Giraffe.
Sure. So I mean, I guess you talked about you've hired 25 people who are part of it. What are they doing to make the next iteration of Giraffe 360 better, stronger, faster? How does that work from your perspective?
So our early development, we were building workflows. So each of the content production, and with the content production, I mean photography creation, floor plan creation, or like virtual tour creation. We were looking on that as separate workflows. And Today, we are trying to unite it in a much smarter platform where all the data input can be used to render a variety of results. And we have evolved from automation mindset, which we certainly had for a period of time, where we were automating what historically has been a manual labor job, where you have lots of photo editing or surveyors that does these jobs in specialized softwares from AutoCAD to Photoshop. We are automating that with our AI systems. Today we are more switching gears and being focused on how to then use this data to run better business. And that's why we are focusing on how the actual marketing workflow works. And so once you have generated all the images, perfect website, floor plans, and this beautiful depiction of a building, how to run actually very effective real estate marketing campaign. And so we as a company to some extent are shifting our focus from data automation to actually running the workflow, and the data automation becomes an input for client sees the biggest value is in this marketing automation and becoming better and faster in marketing, and on the other end to saving huge amounts of money, because what historically was a manual labor, then switching to the platform and AI, we are able to provide that significant discount from what the market has been paying.
Well, if you need business intelligence, I might know somebody, so we'll hook me up a little bit later. So you mentioned you made a strategic decision at some point going from too broad a scope, where you're trying to do a variety of different types of clients to focus on your retail real estate. Mm-hmm. Is that something, again, whether using or leveraging the AI you already have in place, do you see that being easier to do, expanding your scope of opportunities, as the ability to incorporate that new technology is more doable?
Yeah, I think it's very tempting to work in every category, especially when you sit in business meetings and think about how to grow the business, and then a new region, new market category is like an easy thing to add. The thing we realized very quickly is that, let me use construction as an example. When we provide our product to construction clients, they often then scan half-built properties, and then suddenly we haven't built an AI model that qualifies half-built walls, and so you kind of really quickly, because you started to service this client category, open up yourself a box of worms in this new category, client requirements, and you can have we can have an amazing core platform, but to be very valuable for that specific use case, we have to focus, and then it becomes a decision of resources. And we started our business focused on residential real estate. That was our first category, but as we grew, we started to expand and focusing on scanning technology as a wider topic. And we made the switch back to we want to be really good at our core use case. And then if clients can use our technology in separate use cases, that's great, and we don't forbid them to use it, but the system capabilities are limited. So the short answer to your question is, by focusing, we can just deliver higher quality of product. And residential real estate is one of the world's biggest asset classes, one of the biggest categories by itself. So I don't think we have to be worried about the market size of this category. And so I think we have become very comfortable that we want to provide the best technology and the best product for this specific category, instead of trying to do everything for everyone. And so I think that just increases our chance of success.
Well, and to your point, the ability to distinguish between different markets and the rules, and maybe even the cultures of what's acceptable and what's considered livable space, even across Europe and the US versus in Asia or in Africa or India, where you've got millions more units that are potential Giraffe 360.
I have one example. What's very interesting, we have actually in our media production, we have lots of subjective contents. Photography is very subjective, because what is a good photography is very different depending on who you ask. And we have done tons of studies and tests, and it's very interesting to see what's a good photography in Sweden and what's a good photography in Florida, for example. And then you have differences between the states in America and tying that back to the AI topic. And if you want to provide a very good, smart AI system, we have to be very focused on then which is the category of the clients we want to please, because there's no such a thing as a quality photography. Like actually doesn't exist.
Objective quality.
It's objective. There's and the legal floor plan is objective category, and we can create a defined result. But objectively good photography, it's a subjective, doesn't exist, and which makes it incredibly hard to build product that delivers 100% result that satisfies that
at scale.
Yeah.
Agreed. Mikus, thank you very much. If someone wants to find you and learn more about how to tap into you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Giraffe360.com, and I'm Mikus Opelts everywhere where you can find me. Yeah.
Easy peasy. Excellent. Thank you, Mikus. So we turn to our third speaker. Mathieu Brunier is the Senior Vice President at the LIAA Group. Mathieu is joining again remotely. Are you there, Mathieu?
Delighted to be here. Thank you.
So yeah, Mathieu, please, as we talked about, share your stories. Tell us about LIAA and again how you are using AI to foster your business.
Exactly. So LIAA is a company that's 20 years old this year. We are making digital advertising accessible around the world by connecting the big tech platform like Google, Meta, TikTok, Microsoft, Amazon, Pinterest, Spotify, all the tech platforms to the emerging digital economies by representing them with local sales teams. Our pitch to the platform is very simple. We focus on your key markets. The top 20 countries in the world represents more than 90% of the GDP worldwide, and we will do the rest of the markets on your behalf. So we are about 1,500 people in 130 countries with 90 offices around the world, including one in Riga, that is our North Europe headquarters. And we're here to sell their advertising solutions. So we run close to 2 billion this year of advertising spend with more than 13,000 clients. And so through our mission, we propose, education, local payments, and cross-border payments, as well as the local connection and the local sales team on the ground in all those emerging economies around the world. So we are a sales organization. We have about 900 salespeople out of the 1,500 total. And we're using AI to really transform our operations to be more efficient. The number one of our core business is to make sure every ad campaign for every platform we represent, every dollar is more profitable day after day. And so if you have a business and you're looking to export abroad in the US or beyond, feel free to connect with me later. I will redirect you to the local teams depending on where you're based. In the sales department, we also use AI to enhance our CRM abilities. So we have kind of like a sales intelligence tool to have conversation insights. So for example, we can record a call with a client, have some idea, obviously a summary, but also some idea of did we talk too much? Did we handle objections well? Did we have a good connect with the clients? And obviously drive coaching feedback, sales recommendation to drive the sales activity forward. And also a tool for business forecasting. So that's really how we use it in the sales department. In our business intelligence department, we use AI to spot new trends, to spot new companies we would like to hire, to acquire or work with. Everything around competitive analysis, demographic analysis, export analysis, customer insight, personalized marketing, being able to hyper-personalize the creative. I think this is how we use AI. We also use AI in our compliance department. So We have a business integrity team that use AI to scan millions of ad accounts and creatives across all platforms that we represent, to protect, from non-compliant behaviors or anomalies that we might have running, 13,000 clients around the world, and to assure, that we have a very good, massive and scale detections around trust and safety issues that you might have in the advertising business. And we also believe in AI. I remember our IT department recently, training all our teams because we believe that we'll be more efficient if we know how to use the current tools. We are currently, using Google Workspace with Gemini AI, and our IT teams were training all the employees to make sure they know how to use the prompt, everything they could do with the chatbots, making, presentations easily. We also used a tool that's called Notebook LLM from Google that, can generate summary and audio podcast from various sources and huge amount of information that you submit into it. We use it for internal trainings or internal policies. So that's in a nutshell how we use AI currently at Aleph, and I think applied to a sales team really. Not as advanced as my two peers, but very, very concrete and actionable.
So Mathieu, maybe if you could share, I guess you mentioned a variety of teams that use it. How does it actually appear in your daily life? So, are you running? You mentioned you've got a number of prompts you're using. Give us a use case for yourself when you're trying to, find a new client or serve an existing one. Yeah. How does it make you bigger, stronger, faster in terms of you trying to be successful?
Yeah, for me, one good case is, today I lead a team of 900 people, and if I want to understand, across 130 countries what's happening, I cannot teleport myself everywhere, and I'm just going to ask my AI tool and say, okay, what are my teams talking about TikTok today, or what's our speaking time when we talk to clients? Are we talking 20% of the time? Are we talking 80% of the time? I believe in a sales team that is, listening to our clients, and not over talking. I can get all those insights just by, asking the sales tool basically in an instant. I can get, a sentiment of how confident is my sales team to sell a specific given product, by region, by segment of clients as well. And so, when I started sales 20 years ago, it was taking me a week to get my revenue numbers. Now I have everything instantly. I have much more qualitative information on top of the qualitative ones, and it makes us more, intelligent to take decisions and grow our business faster.
Mathieu, you mentioned that you've got 900 people, I assume, all over the globe. One of the things that Mikus mentioned is there's cultural, legal, linguistic, all sorts of differences, across countries, within countries. Do you see at this point, this technology being able to help you there? Does it get into trouble there? Where does your sort of human element come in when understanding and interpreting the information, the data that comes up?
Yeah, very good point. I think, we need to invest in AI, understand how it works, and understand the limits. I don't think, we cannot lose the human touch. So you need, to use AI to get more creative, to get more efficient, but you also need kind of like the oversight and the human oversight. And, I think that's the winning combo. I don't think, a company, in the next 5 to 10 years will be successful without using AI. But I think, obviously we also need to make sure we set, the right rules, the right governance, and that we use it wisely.
Gotcha. So I would actually open this question to the three of you, because you're all in the private industry, you're all in private sector firms. Obviously this is an area that the governments are heavily invested in. Do you have an opinion or a perspective on, where should private industry be doing this, and where should government be doing this separately, and where could we be doing this together? Does that make sense? And I'd offer it up to the three of you. I'm not sure, Mathieu, I know again, I haven't prepped these questions, so forgive me if there's no answers right away, but again, you've probably got the biggest global footprint. Do you see that where, again, the variety of countries you're in, do you see where the government is either helping you or potentially competing in some way?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. So we represent all the platforms across all the markets, and you could see sometimes government like the U.S. government that was recently that wanted to ban TikTok in the U.S. So you can see that political regulations will come into play. I think also the brand safety policies and our ability to adapt targeting and content according to each regulations locally is something where AI can help actually, because you could for example some sensitive industries like gambling or alcohol, you could already say that the ad regulations across the world are very different, and you can use AI to help you tailor the content to make it brand safe or locally safe for any brands. But I think what will matter in the near future is how we build ethical guidelines to fight against the authenticity of the creative, that this can be reviewed and detected by AI, but also manually. So we see clearly, I think it's a complex topic to address for companies nowadays, especially with a global footprint. AI can be a great tool to help, but it's not going to solve everything. And I think this will reinforce and probably transform the job of the legal departments, the compliance departments, to make sure we are as close to the users as possible. I think at the end of the day, if you're providing good content to the users, governments don't really need to intervene. When they want to intervene is when they have ethical issues or when we are touching something sensitive. So
no, makes sense. So I want to ask our two Latvian guests, Raimonds and Mikus. So Latvia recently created a national AI center. Again, you're two private sector individuals. You're not directly touching things like defense, probably, although you might be for all that I know. Again, is this something you have any interaction with, sort of public, AI efforts, or is it just sort of off there in the distance?
Currently, I haven't been involved, and so it's interesting initiative, and we'll see how it goes. So, which is trying to do this government and private sector collaboration, but one area is that maybe to do some pilot projects in some areas, but that's probably for the companies who are more targeting the local market, and that's not exactly what we are interested in. But then, in general, of course, we need to collaborate, the private sector and government, to find the right level of regulation. So not to over-regulate and not to under-regulate, because so this is currently such a Wild West territory, and especially regarding the data privacy. And also what we see that it's not just from the government, what we see from the customer perspective. So then now when there are some legal reviews of the agreements or where the data are stored and what is shared, and it's also very different understanding. So some companies are, because probably of their lawyers are very afraid of that, and so they don't want to enable anything of that because they don't understand how it works. And so probably we need to educate everyone, so both government and also inside the large corporations. So people need to educate so what it is and know how it works, and as sometimes not to be too afraid of it and not to to over-regulate it and which will then not enable all the benefits that it can bring.
Yep, I think the regulation piece of this is tricky. I know the U.S. is struggling with it. Mikus, I assume, did you touch, like, and again, you probably don't have dual use technology, but you could, I guess, if you wanted to, right? Is that something that you've thought about?
No, we have been staying in our lane. We build product for real estate, and we haven't been engaged into bigger AI category. And so I think it's probably good that we want to be innovative in Latvia. We want to be forward-looking and recognize that there's this trend. I'm probably more on the skeptical side, how effective these collaborations and projects can happen, because they seem very tempting, but to actually build something that's valuable and useful for the both parties, I would probably agree. If it's on a project basis or defense corporations, that it could be more fruitful than generic collaboration. So, and I'm probably on the side that says we shouldn't regulate AI, let it be the wild, wild west, because we're just the state of world's economy, America, Europe, where we are, and AI is the technology that today is pretty much the only escape that can unlock so much of economical potential, so much of human potential. Just a very basic example that I think I have become 3 times more productive as a person. I can do 3 times more job that I could do 2 years ago before of these different AI tools that keep coming out. I keep using and adopting, and if all of us become more productive, we're gonna create better services, products. We're gonna just build and that will drive economy. So to slow that down with regulation, that's not the argument, the side of the argument I want to take. I think AI is the biggest unlocker for the human potential today, and I hope So I wouldn't advocate for regulation or in too much regulation in the AI space. We already have regulation in every sector that can be governed, that can be used, and I know that's gonna come, but my position is the AI is the biggest unlocker for human potential, and let's just make the best out of it, especially in this current time where we really need economic production to massively go up, and otherwise, it will be very bad.
Go from there. Well, certainly, Mathieu, you couldn't manage 900 people without the technology that you have. So one thing I did want to ask is you mentioned. So go ahead.
No, I do think that it's challenging to regulate AI, and it will be one of the biggest society challenge in the coming years. It might impact the pace of innovation, and very technically complex to do. Governments would need a lot of experts to be able to do that, but there is a lot of potentially risks and harms that could be attached to data misuse, misinformation, and deepfakes, cybersecurity risks. And losing the public trust, most importantly. So I think it will be critical to have ethical guidelines and barriers more than regulations. But I think it's going to be very difficult to align this globally. That's for sure, especially if it's done by governments.
I don't, again, my take would be it's going to be impossible to regulate this universally across all 212 countries in the world. And I empathize with all 3 of you with your businesses, because you're in different countries, you've got different services, and they've changed dramatically in the last 5 years, realistically, right? Even Aleph has changed probably significantly in the last 5 years, in part because of the technology that, among other things, AI brings you. One last question, I guess for you, Mathieu. You had mentioned that you use a number of third-party resources. I think it was either Google or Microsoft's AI. These 2 gentlemen both have internal captive people, who are dedicated to working on their AI use, their technologies. I assume Aleph does the same, or do you outsource that entirely?
No, I think we first of all, we work with our main partners, and historical partners are Google, Microsoft, Amazon, that are giving us a lot of great tools. Some of them are free. I recommend anyone to start from there. And so we start with that. That's the base. That's the foundations, and then we have some custom tools, third-party tools. We are working with Salesforce that have some AI solutions. We're working with other sales tool provider. One is called WeFlow AI, German company that we are partnering with at the moment. And we also have in-house solutions that is developed by a provider externally, but made for LF on various departments, finance departments, because we're operating $1 billion of payments and sometimes cross-border payments. So we collect the money in Argentina, we pay the platform in the US, etc. So we are also having some technology helping us around the payments industry. So some of them are accessible to everyone, like Google and Microsoft, Amazon tools, and I think that's the right foundations to start. And we also have developed our own systems and tools with various third parties to tailor to our specific needs.
Excellent. Mathieu, as I asked the other gentleman, if you could share, if someone wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way to find you? Or Aleph?
Yes, you can contact me on LinkedIn, Mathieu Brunier, Aleph on LinkedIn. That would be the best place to find me. Excellent.
I appreciate it. So just as we wrap up here, I again want to thank our three panelists, Raimonds Simanovskis of EasyBI, Mikus Opelts of Draft 360, and Mathieu Brunier of Aleph Group. Again, this is a topic that is not going away. It will become as ubiquitous in our lives probably as GPS is now. You don't realize how much GPS touches everything you do. AI is probably going to be even more so than what that has become. So for those of you watching, if any of the three of their firms is something that would be helpful, please reach out to them. But again, I think this is something we'll revert to as a community increasingly as we go forward, and how we can make it a bigger, better part of our economic lives. That said, just as we finish up, you should be receiving a poll here at the end of the webinar. For those, again, who have a little bit of time and want to meet some of your fellow chamber members and attendees, hang in there online and you'll be assigned to, again, one of the breakout networking rooms. And if you're not one of those and you're going to be signing off here at the top of the hour, again, I thank you. It's been a remarkable 5 years of these mini spotlights. We had over 120 registrants. We'll probably have more than that once we consider the YouTube views. So without you being here and investing your time in these events, we wouldn't be here and be doing them. So on behalf of the Latvian American Chamber of Commerce, I thank you. Wish you all a very, hopefully not too hot summer. And I look forward to seeing you as we get closer to the fall, and hopefully get to see some of you at Spotlight Latvia in October as well. Thank you again. Have a great day. Have a great afternoon. Be well, everybody.